Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Portland, Oregon, home of the 2024 WFTDA Global Championships, hosted by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association and Rose City Rollers. I am Dawn Mistress.
I'm Scarlett O'Hurtia.
And we are here for the final day of the championships. We're really close to finding out who's going to win the Hydra. But before we get that, we have some fun games. I'm so excited for this game. So this is Nothing to Lose from France, playing Dirty South Derby from Atlanta, Georgia.
Indeed, both of these teams definitely want to go home with another win. This is game 10. We are here today because Atlanta lost on Friday to Montreal, and excuse me, Nothing to Lose lost to Angel City. So this is game number 10. So we're going to leave it all out on the line, and we've jokingly said this is going to be like the MRDA game of the WFTDA champs.
Because both of these teams are incredibly physical. They both had losses they didn't want. They're going to have some personal pride in trying to get this win today, and it is going to be just a really fun game. The atmosphere here already at what is midday Pacific Standard Time is fantastic. Everybody's glittering. We are all glittering.
Sparkle Sunday,
Sparkle
everyone.
Sunday.
And I know we're about to see some sparkling action out on the track between Atlanta and Toulouse. So we're going to go ahead and introduce you to our teams. We have Toulouse today wearing purple and Atlanta wearing white.
So the roster for Nothing to Lose today is 007 Mac, 018 Qatar, 06 Champagne, 19 Sweeney, 191 Missy Hammer, 202 Billy the Kit, 28 Baboon, 43 Psychedelica, 49 Trash Panda, 64 Jacques and Decker, 72 Nina Backdraft, 747 Lilov, 82 Very Bad Sheep, 934 Wybro Sirius, and 999 Bull.
And wearing white today with the red accents from Atlanta Roller Derby, the Downers Dirty South Derby, we have 0300 Cancer Candy, 06 Jaramillo, 1017 Gucci Mane, 111 Mac Attack, 143 Baller Shot Collar, 18 Thumper, 1962 Human Missile Crisis, 21 Blackjack, 24 Kilty Pleasure, 242 R2 Death 2, 26 Luna Crits, 27 Dominican Dynamite, 31 Erica Baduzzi, 33 Troublemaker, 33-3 Sweet and Sour, 4000 Great Wall of Gina, 454 The Merchant of Menace, and 775 Prim Reaper, 961 Peace Corps.
So the WFTDA predictor is predicting that Toulouse will take the win. It's predicting about 70 points between the two teams, but I don't think I'm not sure. I think this is going to be a close game.
I do too. I think it's going to be very close, very physical and aggressive. Great way to start off our morning, final day of our first WFTDA Championships in 5 years. I am so excited to be here. Sparkly, shiny on a Sunday, and we are going to kick things off with Jaramillo and Trash Panda. We are joined today by our fantastic producer who's been hanging out with us all weekend, Cakes, feeding us all the great information. We do want to also thank all of the fabulous volunteers that have made this weekend possible.
And that is a tight pack at that Get Your Bearings skate shop start line. There's not a centimeter of space.
Not at all.
Sorry, inch.
Centimeter, inch, millimeter.
Champagne lining up to do a lovely little piece of offense right on the jam line.
There's a fair bit of space there at lane 1 from Champagne, but then Champagne shifting position. Nice offensive assist there right out of the gate, but Trash Panda shoved to the infield. Oh, hard hit there by Atlanta. Follow through there by number 18. That is Thumper.
Cancer Candy was looking to take off a Toulouse blocker right from the line. Not interested in the jammer, actually interested in the Toulouse blockers.
Well, I'm interested in the jammer. Currently wearing the star who is the lead jammer for Atlanta. That is Jaramillo with 4 points on that first scoring pass. Blackjack with a beautiful follow-through hit, taking them all the way out to, taking Trash Panda, pardon me, all the way out to turn number 4.
Trash Panda hit to the inside by Cancer Candy, but sees that and goes back for the recycle.
Jaramillo shoved out of bounds at turn 1 on that second scoring pass. Trash Panda still trying to make it through on that initial scoring pass. And Pack pulling way back as both jammers having to recycle the majority of the track. Now, this is a great clock management strategy by Toulouse because they are trying to lessen the opportunities for Jaramillo to rack up any points with that super fast drawback. But Jaramillo finds some space all the way back to the second straightaway, grabs 4 points on the pass for 8 total on the jam thus far. And a power jam now on the track. Trash Panda heading to the S1 penalty box for a forearm penalty.
And I think we saw that in the game on Friday when Toulouse played, that Trash Panda in the penalty box is a real issue for Toulouse.
I think anytime you've got a jammer that is making some penalties, it's definitely going to be a problem. You can't score points if your point scorer is not on the floor.
No, and unfortunately Trash Panda picked up a number in a row, so let's hope that is just an early nerves and not the sign of sort of something more significant.
So that was a scoreless jam there for Toulouse, but Dirty South 12 points on jam 1.
But, you know, that was that point you were making about time management with that sort of recycle all the way back. Very smart from Toulouse.
Yes, very much so. Out now on the jam line, we have Merchant of Menace for Dirty South Derby. Full complement of blockers for Dirty South. One, the pivot and the jammer for Toulouse, currently in the S1 penalty box. Last line of defense up in front, that is number 19, Sweeney, holding back Merchant of Menace.
But
now as lead jammer.
20 seconds. 20 seconds on a power start.
Power start with a pack disadvantage, so valiant effort there for Toulouse. And Trash Panda now out of the pack, out of the box and out of the pack, eligible to score points. 4 on the first scoring pass. Dirty South looking for their second scoring pass. Blackjack on the offense. Champaign playing defense. Clock management we talked about. Jam is called before either team can get any points on that second scoring pass.
That's an opportunity to mention, Radical Wheels replay.
Yeah, this is Champaign, I think, holding it down as that last line of defense up in the front. Oh, sorry, that was Sweeney, I mentioned previously, right as lead jammer status was declared.
So on the jam line, we have Peace Corps up against Missy Hammer for Nothing to Lose.
Tripod of Toulouse on that outside portion of the track. Cancer Candy, pardon me, forcing a recycle. We've got a full complement of Atlanta blockers. We actually have to have a return to play. Number 26, Lunacritz, forced to go back onto the track, even though being called on a penalty because the S1 penalty box is full of Atlanta blockers currently.
And Missy Hammer takes that opportunity, gets lead, completes initial scoring pass. 4 points on the board for Toulouse.
First lead jammer status for Toulouse in this game. We have a Star Pass Blackjack taking over as the jammer of record for Atlanta.
Atlanta's still with that penalty box trouble with now just one blocker stand released. Still one blocker in the box, in the S1 penalty box.
Missy Hammer threw for 4 points, and that was a lovely spin move right at the front there. And then looking to the refs, I think, for a little bit of validation, like, am I good? Did I get through cleanly? Yes. And they did. Here we have a Radical Wheels replay right here. This is the follow through by Cancer Candy, that spin move in the front, and then looking back and forth at the officials.
We saw this quite a lot from teams, particularly who haven't played at this level before.
Yes.
That they are looking to check that they are, or they're a bit too cautious on ref calls.
I mean, if you want to be careful on those penalties, because you did say that that was a challenge with Toulouse in their previous game. So jammer in the front is Mac for Toulouse, but they are not the lead jammer because of a no pass, no penalty. Gucci Mane currently tangled up in the pack at the apex as Mac gets through for 4 points on that first scoring pass. Star has been handed off to the pivot from Atlanta. Point scorer of record is now going to be Prim Reaper. Going toe-to-toe with Mac, who has made it through now on 2 scoring passes. 8 points for Nothing to Lose. No lead jammer, 2-minute jam.
But with that scoring pass just completed by Mac, Nothing to Lose take the lead. Is now 24 points, playing 20. And we still have a minute left in this jam with Mac essentially doing laps.
Yeah, pretty much. And Pat coming to largely a standstill as both jammers now entering the fray. Mac really breaking up that Atlanta defense, picking off those blockers one after another for 4 more points, 20 points thus far on the jam.
And that's because the Toulouse blockers have separated out the Atlanta blockers and are keeping them in position.
Yeah. A little bit of distraction tactics there. And it looks like Prim is still trying to make it through on a scoring pass as Mac is now entering on their 6th scoring pass?
Yes.
If I can math correctly?
Yes, you've mathed correctly.
Cancer Candy acting as an offensive wrecking ball, trying to break up that Toulouse defense, but the tripod is too strong. Great rotation here in turn 3, and Prim Reaper shoved to the infield by Y Bro Serious.
But we have 2 Atlanta blockers who have kept Mac back for the final 20 seconds of that.
Both jammers, however, get 4 points on that last pass, so that is a monstrous jam for Toulouse. 24 points, courtesy of Mac.
Taking them to 36, 12 points ahead of Dirty South Derby. And we have a timeout called, and that's a crash course timeout. Ready to make 2-minute jams feel easy? Tired of second-guessing your training routine? Take a timeout with Crash Course to learn Derby-specific workouts and nutrition plans that build confidence, skills, and strength on the track and off. And it's Atlanta that have called that timeout, and that is a very smart move.
I know you can't see it at home, but currently the Toulouse jammer is just chilling on the Get Your Bearings start line. I think it's Trash Panda, actually.
Yep.
I mean, that's one way to get a feel for the floor. We mentioned that Toulouse and Nantes, to a degree, we're having trouble with the sport court, and it's even more difficult here because we're actually on top of an ice hockey rink,
yes.
and that makes the plastic really hard. It's not as grippy. It's very slick.
So the first time most of these teams in France,
Trash Panda doing some meditation, visualization on the Get Your Bearings start line.
So most of the first time these teams have played on sport courts is when they went to Euro Regionals in Malmo, because in France it's not a traditional floor, and we saw it in both games on the Friday, that it's just getting used to a different type of floor.
And that is not a small thing.
No.
Now out on the track, Troublemaker, who is very familiar with this type of track, and Trash Panda still getting through the pack, has removed the star from helmet but has not passed it. We have an Atlanta blocker in the box that is Thumper for a forearm. Trash Panda now out of the pack, eligible to score points, and Troublemaker calling it off before Trash Panda hit the pack. 4 points for Atlanta on that pass, shutting out Nothing Toulouse. And we have a very close game here, 36-28 heading into jam number 6.
I mean, the speed Trash Panda had that was able to just sort of bounce off Blackjack. Blackjack going in for the hit, but Trash Panda's speed and momentum was too strong and just skated round right at the end, but didn't pick up the point.
We had an official timeout called on the track. Crash Course timeout. Thank you to all of our sponsors making this weekend possible.
And a special thank you to Poster Giant for sponsoring this cozy announcer booth. Poster Giant is a Seattle-based global marketing and advertising agency, but most importantly, a huge supporter of roller derby.
We do love a big supporter of roller derby. Thank you so much. And now out on the track, we're going to have Kata jamming for Toulouse.
And Jaramillo for Atlanta.
Jaramillo.
And again, that incredibly tight pack on the Get Your Bearings start line.
And we have a 3-3 pack with a pivot from Toulouse in the S1 penalty box. And you have Kata taking advantage. Oh no, too much of an advantage. Cutting the track penalty declared for Toulouse. And so Jaramillo on a lead jam for Atlanta. This is her second lead jam, I believe. Have we seen Jaramillo? This is her second, correct? Yeah.
And this is a crucial jam, the opportunity to take the lead back from Toulouse.
Atlanta now has all blockers back on the track, but so does Toulouse. So nice shirt whip to the outside, lane 4. Jaramillo trying to get through at turn 1. Nice spin move, trying to get past Wybro Sirius. But oh goodness. The physicality that we predicted is definitely coming true here.
Champagne with the offense going in to try and free up Kata, but hasn't worked because Atlanta were able to reform ahead.
Jaramillo calling it off right after Trash Panda exited the penalty box. 4 points for Dirty South on that first scoring pass. On the second as well, we have a Radical Wheels replay. Here we see Jaramillo then getting this. I think this is that spin move to get lead jammer status.
But we have a tied game.
You love to see it.
So on the jam line, we have the Merchants of Menace up against Jacques and Decaire. First time we've seen Jacques and Decaire on the Get Your Bearings start line.
Well, Jacques and Decaire getting very familiar with the floor after a stumble in turn 1. Now declared lead jammer for Toulouse. Merchant of Menace still tangled up in the fray. Gets swallowed back up by that last Toulouse blocker. They're getting too spread out. They have to let him go.
So the 2 Atlanta blockers in the box, but they are both standing. So that pack advantage is going to close.
Well, Jacques and Decaire called it off right as Merchant of Menace approached the pack. So 3 points for Toulouse on that last jam. They're reclaiming the lead, 39-36.
We said this would be tasty.
Indeed. And what was the term? I saw somebody said zesty. It got a little zesty out on the track.
Yes. Oh, we're seeing that.
Mac donning the star once again for Toulouse. And Peace Corps for Atlanta. the dependence on the jerseys for whip power in this champs has been astonishing. Thank goodness for stretchy fabric. Mac declared lead jammer for Toulouse, and Peace Corps out of the pack, eligible to score points.
Toulouse safely go safe and call the jam. Just to having a check, did pick up the 4 points, so they're eking this lead out now. That's second jam in a row where they've put on just the 3 or 4 points.
Well, but Mac's still responsible for that monster jam in the beginning that shifted the trajectory a little bit for Toulouse. 24 points, I believe, and 1 jam. Now we see 2 familiar faces out on the track. Who we've got?
It's Trash Panda up against Gucci Mane.
Both jammers getting trapped to the outside. Gucci with the fast footwork on lane 4 finds Daylight first as your lead jammer.
And you can see this quite often, that Atlanta will put 2 in defense, 2 in offense, and it worked there for them.
Sometimes it does, and right now Trash Panda, forced on a long recycle, has removed the star from helmet. And this follow through here with these long drawbacks by number 27 from Atlanta, that is Dominican Dynamite. That's 2, back to back that we're seeing that here.
But again, Toulouse trying to suck up the time when they're not lead with the skate back.
We have a low block penalty being declared on 242 from Atlanta. That is R2 Death 2. So pack disadvantage for Atlanta, but Gucci Mane in control of the clock. Pivot from Toulouse, heading to the penalty box. Forearm penalty being declared on 775 Prim Reaper.
We are seeing a lot of penalties for this point in the game.
I would agree with that. So Black, oh my goodness, all three Atlanta blockers being sent to the penalty box. So Blackjack, the lone blocker on the track currently, and Gucci Mane hands up asking why that was called. I'm curious as well, but we shall see. So 4 points on that jam for Gucci Mane, and 0 for Toulouse. We're gonna see Kata facing off against Troublemaker. And to the action on the track, everybody going right back to that get your bearings start line. And once again, we have a full complement of Atlanta blockers in the penalty box. They're gonna have to watch that. It's a bit early for this frequency of blockers visiting the box.
We've already had 11 penalties for Atlanta in the first 14 minutes of this game.
Well, we've got 4 points now for Katza on the scoreboard, 47-40, Toulouse in the lead. Troublemaker still trying to get through on that initial pass. And very physical.
And just that Toulouse wall up front, I would not want to be facing that.
It's that brace 2 wall tripod, now using each other as projectiles to knock out Troublemaker. Toulouse trying to pull that long drawback, as Dominican Dynamite really sticking it to Katza on the inside lane.
And the strength of Troublemaker pushing the Toulouse wall is pushing into Qatar, trying to push into the Atlanta wall.
Yeah, and Troublemaker has now removed the star from her helmet and has passed it to the pivot, but it has not been placed back on the helmet. So Kata now through on another scoring pass, 8 points thus far. We're coming up on scoring pass number 3. Dominican Dynamite again just anchoring that Atlanta defense in the back of the pack, and a nice follow through there by Prim Reaper in the back of the pack. Star was passed but not applied to the helmet. Toulouse opting to call it off after 2 points on that pass in order to prevent Thumper from getting any points for Atlanta.
But left with only 20 seconds on the clock. It took 1 minute 40 to complete the initial pass for Atlanta, and Toulouse eking that lead out 10 points.
Grinding defense indeed. 53-40, Toulouse in the lead. A little under 15 minutes left in the first half. We're heading into jam number 11. We have Jacques Decker on the line for Nothing Toulouse, and for Dirty South, we've got Jaramillo.
Just the
speed that we're seeing them just zit, back and forth. Jaramillo in the front of the pack. Blackjack forcing a long recycle for Jacques Decker.
the focus of each and every blocker is phenomenal.
Yeah. This is one of those jams where I think you're really truly having to flip back and forth between offense and defense at a split second's notice.
Yeah.
Jaramillo shoved out of bounds at the apex at turn 1 and 2, forced to do a long recycle. I think they're going to try and get her back to that get your bearing start line.
And that was incredible work because that was right at the front of a full bridge.
Yeah.
So we are 1 minute into the jam almost, and we still don't have a lead.
Gracious. And look at the shoulder work here by Jaramillo trying to sneak under those opposing blockers. Cancer Candy, last line of defense. We do have a lead jammer declared, Jacques Decker, but you can look at that body language and the facial expression. That was a hard-fought lead. Cutting the track penalty called on Jaramillo, so power jam for Toulouse. But Jacques Decker worked hard to get through that initial pass, and now 3 points, on this scoring pass.
Smart call by Jacques Decker. As we said, that was physically hard. It is better to have as much of that power start as possible and a fresh set of legs.
Little bit of a pep talk there from Boule.
Because it is,
or Baboon, pardon, wrong person.
Because it is Mac on the jam line for nothing to lose.
Team timeout called by Atlanta.
Oh, that was smart.
Yes,
that was smart.
Take the time to regroup.
So it is time for a timeout sponsored by Crash Course. They help roller derby athletes increase strength, conquer self-doubt, and create the habits of high performers to become all-stars and MVPs on the track and in life. I mean, I know Atlanta have closed the gap down and we went to a tied game, but at the moment, Toulouse seem to be able to control the game at the times it matters.
This is also interesting that Dirty South chose to take this is their second team timeout here in the first half. Down by 16 points, but this is not insurmountable. And interesting strategy there.
I just think it was all about momentum. You were starting with a 25-second power start. They were literally ready to go. So you called the timeout just to mess with people's heads. That's what that was to me. And I can absolutely see why they were willing to sacrifice a timeout for that.
I can see that too. So currently the only occupant of the S1 penalty box is Jaramillo, the jammer for Atlanta. Nice spin move there up in the front by Atlanta's Sweet and Sour.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Wide open space on lane 1 for Mac to get through. Now, if there is a jammer that can really take advantage of this power jam situation, Mac's gonna be it.
That was Billy the Kit who did the off-the-line offense, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
We have a forearm penalty being called on Atlanta blocker. I believe that's number 26, Luna Kritz. And Jaramillo back in action. So initial pass has been made. Mac has been declared lead jammer. However, Jaramillo now back into the fray. We've got whistles being blown. 4 points for Mac and a star pass to Sweet and Sour.
So it'll be interesting to see what Toulouse decide to do, and they are deciding to play it long and speed the pack up.
And speeding up for sure and taking out Sweet and Sour on this scoring pass. Mac in control of that clock. Long recycle forced there by Toulouse. Oh, beautiful hit there by Prim Reaper. No pass, no penalty, so 3 points on that scoring pass. 11 total on the jam for Toulouse. I feel like Mac is just trying to beat her own high point score at this point.
I think that this is where Toulouse are able to build this lead up because they're able to do the multiple scoring passes. They're getting their jammers through. So it's worth playing it long.
So 2 points on that last pass, total of 13 on the jam. 69 points for Toulouse. 44 for Dirty South Derby. And here we have a Radical Wheels replay. There, you see a hand signal there from Mac, or may have just been what her hands were doing at the time, but that could be very smart to signal to your blockers.
So we have Trash Panda on the Get Your Bearing start line up against the Merchant of Menace.
Trash Panda needs to watch those penalties for sure. sure.
And so Trash Panda is one of the most laterally agile jammers, I think, here at the tournament. It's incredible track coverage. And has paid off here.
Cancer Candy with that follow through. Cancer Candy just zeroes in on those jammers and does not stop chasing. There's going to be a penalty on that one. That was, Cancer Candy paying the price for that. So Trash Panda with a very low pass through the outside of the pack, but Cancer Candy answered low with the block and hit the box for that one. That was was that a destruction call?
It was a high block.
Okay.
Because if your head is at other people's waists, you know, it's not very high up, but it is high.
I was reading the wrong signal on or wrong code on the screen. Merchant of Menace there on the jam for Dirty South. 8 points for Toulouse on jam number 13. Score is currently 77-44. 9.5 minutes left in this first half. We're heading into jam number 14 with who on the Get Your Bearings start line?
So we have Peace Corps on the line for Dirty South Derby, and we have Qatar for Nothing to Lose. And Dirty South are managing to reduce the number of penalties. I mean, it's now 10 minutes left. Oh, and then we're in an official timeout. So they have now gone to 13 penalties, but that's taken another 6 minutes. So
I'm seeing 14 for Dirty South,
14,
nine for Toulouse, though.
But it was 11 penalties, sort of about 8 minutes ago. So so it is slightly. They are sort of calming it down, centering themselves.
Okay, so Trash Panda only has one penalty currently. I think maybe I was thinking of
it was Jacques
something else.
Decker, I think, also picked up the jammer penalty.
Yes, Champagne currently sitting at 3, and then we have Thumper at 3 on Atlanta. Those are really the only ones that are in
So that's
really
interesting for Champagne, because Champagne quite often plays as a pivot.
Yeah.
So having a sort of 3 penalties at this stage does limit your options maybe later in the game.
Yeah. So we see the officials concurring in the center of the track. Zebras at the watering hole, if you will.
So it's an opportunity to thank our biggest sponsor, S1. The S1 Lifer helmet. Best fit plus best protection equals made for roller derby. And we also want to shout out WFTDI, keeping you on track and bringing wellness to the 2024 WFTDA Global Championships.
If it hadn't been for WFTDI, I would not have had a water bottle this weekend. So thank you, WFTDI. We have jammers just pacing and like stalking, like a shark. Just Katza just circling. Like, can we go already? Are we done? We do have one Atlanta blocker in the box. That is Cancer Candy. So don't forget to talk to us on Discord. We have that fantastic Discord channel that got started yesterday. We saw it pretty active yesterday, but I think it's a little early for everyone.
Not in Europe. You have to remember it is like 8 or 9 p.m. In the audience who are watching in France, it's gone 9 p.m. back there.
Yeah.
So they're ready.
So the last 4 jams in a row have been lead jammer status for Toulouse. That is the longest streak we've seen in this game so far. Right now we've got 6 lead jammer statuses for Toulouse, 5 for Atlanta.
So Pete's Corps on the Get Your Bearings jam line against Qatar.
And less than, I think, 3 seconds for Qatar to grab lead jammer status for Toulouse. That's 5 lead jammer statuses in a row for the team in purple. Nice toe stop work on the inside lane. Clears the Atlanta contingent of blockers as Peace Corps exits the pack. Stumble on, oh, good gracious.
Oh, good gracious. Indeed.
Direction of gameplay being called on Atlanta number 31. That is Erica Baduzzi.
I think we all felt the floor move at that moment.
Yeah. This is when you're grateful for shock absorption in pads and helmets.
But 8 minutes 30 left in this game. 81 points now, playing 44.
I think it's just a couple of those multi-pass jams that Toulouse has really been able to lock down. Now we've got Missy Hammer for Toulouse facing off against Gucci Mame. Missy Hammer is your lead jammer after getting past that last Atlanta blocker. Once again, we have a full Atlanta penalty box, including the jammer, Gucci Mame. So Blackjack, one of the few blockers remaining on the track, along with number 242, R2 Death 2. Missy Hammer shoved out of bounds at the apex, forcing a, oh, no, and cutting the track penalty is declared. So we will see Gucci Mame return to play. No lead jammer, 2-minute jam, and we have a full complement of blockers from both teams facing off against Gucci Mame on this initial pass.
And Atlanta determined to separate the Toulouse blockers. But that's still not helping Gucci Mame get through.
Look at this anchored tripod here, and then Atlanta going in and just wrecking them apart. Missy Hammer has re-entered the fray, forcing a long recycle there. That is R2 Death 2 in the back with an assist from Prim Reaper.
But that great timing from Nina Backdraft, meaning that the full recycle didn't have to happen because the blocker was hit out.
So Gucci Mame now through on that initial pass, now on a scoring pass. Missy Hammer through for 4 points on that first scoring pass. Pack speeds up significantly prior to the jammers entering the action.
Lila Van Champagne hitting out Gucci Mame and recycling nearly half the track.
We have another cutting the track penalty declared on Missy Hammer. That is 2 cutting the track penalties for that player alone in this jam. 10 seconds remain on the jam clock as Gucci Mame is recycling now, still on that first scoring pass. Toulouse reforming. And that jammer takedown there on the inside lane by Lilov.
So even with 2 jammer penalties, Toulouse win the jam points, taking 7 points to Dirty South Derby's 4.
Holy moly.
And I think that's the thing, although we are seeing some jammer penalties from Toulouse, Dirty South can't make the most of it.
Well, because they have so many blockers in the box. Right now, Atlanta's sitting at 17 penalties, nothing to lose at 11. Those ghost points catch up very quickly.
So, Missy Hammer in the box, Troublemaker on the Get Your Bearings start line.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Troublemaker has had trouble getting through the pack in each jam thus far against Toulouse, so this could be a great opportunity for her to get through. No pack is declared, and this is the first lead jammer status for Troublemaker. And this is Atlanta, second lead jammer status, and breaking that lead jammer status streak by Toulouse. So Missy, okay, no pack declared on those blockers trying to force that long recycle.
But Missy Hammer completes initial pass.
Thanks to that star stash that we've seen very effective all weekend.
And I think it's because these aren't teams that play each other a lot, so they don't necessarily know
who to look out for. Yeah, they're looking for the helmet cover, not the individual. 4 points on that pass for Missy Hammer. So Troublemaker is the lead jammer on a scoring pass, but does not own this. I mean, the scoreboard currently belongs to Toulouse. There goes Troublemaker out of the pack for 4 points. Breaking a scoreless streak of I don't know how long. I'll have to ask Cakes how many jams that's been. Nice follow through there by number 18, Thumper.
Huge hit on Missy Hammer from Thumper.
6 jam scoreless streak now broken by Troublemaker. Never mind, just joking, 2.
And that's Thumper and Cancer Candy up front doing an incredible job holding back Missy Hammer.
Really, truly. Yeah, I mean, using the entire body, center of gravity out the window. 8-5 on that jam for Toulouse. We have a Radical Wheels replay right here. This is Troublemaker up in the front, facing off those last 2 Toulouse blockers. Nice rotation there. They have to let her go. I think this is where she was declared lead jammer in that straightaway.
Less than 4 minutes to go in this first period. Trash Panda on the Get Your Bearings start line up against Jaramillo.
Jaramillo on the outside lane, looking for some day lane. Toulouse, man, they are so seamless in how their blockers connect. Nina Backdraft being sent to the S1 penalty box as Trash Panda thrown to the infield there. Your lead jammer now is Jaramillo for Dirty South Derby. Tripod in the back, Blackjack bridging the two teams, and Jaramillo manages to juke and jive past that Tripod in the back for 4 points.
Just not able to keep up with the speed of Jaramillo there to reform.
Well, speaking of speed, the pack sped up a little bit there to try and contain Trash Panda, but Trash Panda now through on that initial pass, able to score points now, but after 4 more, total of 8 on the jam, Jaramillo calls it off.
You talk about how the Toulouse blockers and jammers work so closely together. It's worth noting that the way that French roller derby is structured, they have a national championship, and so these teams play, 15 games, 20 games a year.
Good gracious.
Yeah. Because they have WFTDA play on top of that as well, so they have so much time
on the track a lot.
Yeah, and it shows.
Merchant of Menace now jamming for Dirty South Derby, and Mac, the highest scoring jammer, I believe, thus far for Toulouse, is your lead jammer. Now you see why. We have number 18 from Atlanta, Thumper, going back to the penalty box. That is penalty number 5, I believe, that we're about to add on. Might be 4.
Number 4, but 22nd penalty for Atlanta overall.
See Mac through on that first scoring pass for 4 points.
And it's Erica Baduzzi going to the S1 penalty box for Dirty South.
And we also have a Toulouse blocker, that I believe that is Boule, heading to the S1 penalty box as Mac tries to get past that last Atlanta blocker, that is R2 Death 2. 4 points on the pass for Mac. Oh, and we got leapfrog happening in the straightaway. Wybro Sirius with a stumble there, getting called on a penalty. Star Stash to get Merchant of Menace through that pack, now eligible to score points. Oh, Sweet and Sour. Nice jammer takeout to the inside, but not forcing a long recycle. Missed opportunity there.
But also, Mac wasn't sure if they were, if that hit, whether they had to go back or not. So Sweet and Sour just made that decision for them. I would have left it, because if they had judged that wrong, and it would have been a cut. So we are in an official review. We have a crash course official review. Custom training plans with derby-specific workouts, nutrition plans, and athlete-minded development, curated by epic coaches. Life is a contact sport. Win.
So this is the first official review we've seen in the game thus far, called by Toulouse.
I'm guessing, and it is a guess, it will be that they will be looking for a back block penalty issued on
Sweet
Atlanta.
And Sour.
It was over on the straightaway. It was before that hit from Sweet and Sour, I would suspect.
Oh, when Wybro Sirius went down?
Yeah. Could be that.
Oh, let's hear.
Toulouse is requesting a back block on white pivot from the previous jam.
And just like that, Dork Mistress nails it. So great.
Oh, but, 23 penalties now for Dirty South. Yeah. Could be 24.
So we have a message from Morco 1982. Hello, announcers from the heart of Europe. Hello, Morco 1982.
Bonjour, bonsoir, even.
Oh, chat is awake and opening up the chat GIF war up. Open this pit up with the Marge GIF. One of my faves.
We do know that there are watch parties all over Europe. I know a lot of leagues have been renting bars and pubs and putting on watch parties because it is Sunday evening. There are a lot of people who have booked Monday off work to stay up and watch this, and we are so glad you are here with us.
And it's awesome that we have that opportunity, because we have, for the first time, 2 French teams at Champs. We also have 2 Australian teams at Champs. We have a great contingent of European officials here. This is really and truly the most global our Champs has been.
Officials did not observe action that collaborates the call. No call stands, not retained.
I like those glasses.
There you go, no back block.
No back block declared, but the suspicion was correct, Dirk Mistress. And hey, you can't take the official review with you. We've got a minute left, less than a minute left in our first half, so why not? We have broken the century mark with Toulouse at 107, Dirty South at 61, heading into jam number 19 with who wearing the stars?
So we have Jacques and Decoeur for Nothing to Lose, but Peace Corps picks up lead jammer.
Full complement of blockers for both teams. Pack speeding up a fair bit, but speeding up laterally, which is an interesting change of events. Now everybody rushing forward in turn one. Blackjack, last line of defense, holding back Jacques and Decoeur. Jack gets through. And Peace Corps now trying to get by on a scoring pass, calls it off before Jacques and Decoeur can enter scoring position. 3 points for Dirty South on that jam.
I think it's worth noting just how fast the Toulouse blockers are in just skating speed and ability to transition.
That agility is just bananas. Official review called by Dirty South Derby. We will see if it's actually a review or if it's meant to be used as a timeout. Who's our official review brought to us by?
Our official review is brought to us by Crash Course. Ready to make 2-minute jams feel easy? Tired of second-guessing your training routine? Take a time out with Crash Course to learn Derby-specific workouts and nutrition plans that build confidence, skills, and strength on the track and off. Having looked at the way that everybody, the officials are lined up, this is a timeout.
Totally.
Yeah. Because we haven't got the teams going into the middle and asking the difficult questions.
But again, can't take it with you. Might as well use it up. We've got 4 seconds left on the period clock. Somebody had to call a clock stoppage if you wanted to get one more in. And Cakes is waving to the folks in the background. You can see us right behind the players on the track. Our lovely producer, Cakes. Thanks to our camera crew this weekend as well. Been getting some fantastic shots.
And it's worth Atlanta having another jam because it is still only 43 points between the two teams.
Very manageable. Heading into jam number 20, our last jam of the first half, we have Jaramillo facing off against Cata. Tight pack up to the pivot line as Cata traversing the track and Jaramillo trying to get past that apex. Blockers flying everywhere, and Jaramillo is declared lead jammer for Dirty South Derby. Period clock has expired. Gatza has one last blocker to get past. That is R2 Death 2. Beautiful lateral blocking movement, just zigging and zagging across the track to hold Gatza back.
But not just across the track, over the track, so the Gatza can't get around the side.
To and through, yep.
And that is halftime.
1 point for Dirty South on that one. And weird, the jam is called, the half is called with flair by our non-skating official in the center jam timer.
So we finish the first period, Nothing to Lose on 107 points, Dirty South Derby on 65. We promised a physical game.
Did we deliver?
We delivered lead changes. There's been all sorts of shenanigans and just incredible blocking.
Indeed. Well, we're going to go crunch some numbers, check out the stats, see what we can bring you for the second half, and we will be back after halftime in about 14 minutes.
The S1 Lifer helmet is one size fits all for head sizes 20.5 to 23.5 inches. With our color-coded sizing liner system, you can be confident that you'll be able to create a perfect fit with the S1 Lifer helmet. Not all head sizes are the same, so size flexibility is crucial when you're looking to buy a helmet. Standard sizing liners do not affect how the helmet disperses impact energy. So no matter what size you are, whether you're an extra small or a 3XL, you can be confident that the S1 Lifer helmet will meet and or exceed current helmet safety standards. If you have a small head or you have a really big head, don't worry. We have a helmet that will fit you too. Check out our Mini Lifer or our Mega Lifer helmet, which are our smaller and bigger helmet shell options. Remember, a great fit is crucial for safety. The S1 Lifer helmet, a better fitting, safer helmet.
Do you want a rewarding career? TriMet is hiring mechanics, bus and MAX operators, technicians, and service workers. If you're looking for a job with great pay and top-notch benefits, like low to no-cost healthcare and a generous retirement plan, join TriMet today and help keep the Portland area moving. It's easy to apply. Just go to trimet.org/careers. Again, that's trimet.org/careers. TriMet, how life moves.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer Visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented Fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware, so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer Visor helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
Save money on your transportation costs with TriMet's Reduced Fare Transit Card. If you meet income requirements, get your first month free while you enjoy unlimited rides on buses and trains. Learn more and apply today at trimet.org/save.
City Liquidators, it's been around since 1977 when my husband Walt started it. We just built it on good service and value. 160,000 square feet, full of new home and office furniture and incredible accessories, cookware, glassware, dinnerware, and lots of fun stuff. He always believed in backing it up with inventory. So we have an incredible inventory, so you buy it today, get it today. That's City Liquidators. I love this place. It's fun.
Shaggy here with AAA to tell you about the lowest profile, slimmest fitting, and only triple certified helmet for Derby, the Deep Cover. Loaded with cutting-edge technology, the Deep Cover helmet has the most certifications compared to any other Derby helmet out there. The hidden hinge technology provides the perfect amount of auto-flexing adjustment inside the helmet. The LuxLock liners contain 3 densities of precision foam to cradle the occipital region at the base of your skull. Every helmet comes with an extensive fit kit with extra size liners and shims for complete customization for your unique head shape. All of our helmet sizes vary by shell size, not just by liners, giving you the best fit options to keep you safe. Visors can be added to any Deep Cover helmet, even after purchase, with the addition of our Derby Visor Crown system, which allows for easy on-off and the freedom to customize any color helmet you buy. Hit up your local skate shop for expert installation. Triple certified, slim fitting, customizable sizing, and visor optional. Skate your best, wear the best. We've got you covered.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2024 WFTDA Global Championships live from Portland, Oregon, hosted by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association and the Rose City Rollers. I'm Scarlett O'Hurtia.
I'm Dork Mistress, and we're supported by our producer, Cakes.
She's trying out to double as cousin, as Thing from the Addams Family. Welcome to the exciting conclusion of Atlanta versus Toulouse. We left you at the first half with Toulouse at 107, Dirty South Derby from Atlanta at 65. And we've got a couple stories that we've pulled from the first half.
Yeah, first of all, penalties.
Yes.
We keep talking about it. Atlanta now sitting on 23 penalties. But they're mainly blockers, but they're usually at the same time. So we are seeing a large number of blocker penalties, 4 blocks in the pack. So it's taking them out, and that's letting the other story happen, which is Toulouse's jamming.
Well, and it's not just on the storyline with the blockers. It's not just one blocker at a time. They're losing all but one blocker in one fell swoop per jam.
Queuing for the box more than once.
Yes, more than once. But yes, to the point about the Toulouse jammers. Rock star first half for Mac, number 007, responsible for 52 of Toulouse's points here in the first half. So most of those coming from the 124-point jam, but then also the only other jammer that is responsible for multi-pass jams thus far is Missy, and Missy Hammer, pardon me. So those two jammers, if Atlanta can answer those two jammers, they may be able to lock it down, but they're not going to be able to do that without getting control of these penalties. Jaramillo responsible for 29 of Atlanta's points here in the first half.
But talking of penalties, Toulouse's jammers have been giving away power jams left, right, and centre, and I think Missy Hammer picking up 2 in one jam. So I think really we want to see both teams staying on the track, out of the S1 penalty box, because we are seeing thrilling, physical, fast roller derby.
We are indeed. So 5 power jams in that first half, 2 full-minute jams, 2 lead changes. Excitement, we got it here to start off day 3 of Global Champs. We've got Mac and Jaramillo, the 2 leading point scorers in the first half, to kick off the second half.
The discipline of the Toulouse blockers is phenomenal. That off-the-line offense, clearing the line, Mac, no opposition.
Mac now on a scoring pass has been declared lead jammer. Helmet cover has been removed from Jaramillo's helmet, but Star has not been passed as of yet. Mac threw for 4 points on the first scoring pass. Now on the second, Blackjack taking out the other pivot. I believe that was, nope, I'm not going to guess on the name of that skater. We do have Blackjack with Star in hand, getting past those Toulouse blockers. Oh, the Star cover has been dropped. And we have a penalty on Mac, so going to the penalty box for a forearm penalty. Meanwhile, the helmet cover is on the ground currently.
We've seen this a number of times during this tournament, apparently.
And that's where knowing the rules is very helpful. Jaramillo tried to pick up the helmet cover to hand it to Blackjack, but because it was in Blackjack's hands, that is an illegal procedure penalty. Yes. And Blackjack now donning the Star is officially the jammer of record. A little bit of a hug there from Sweeney. And Sweeney's going to get called out for a forearm penalty on that block. 3 points for Blackjack on that pass, because she did opt to finish that pass to retrieve the cover. But effective penalty kill there by Toulouse. Mac now out of the pack and turning on the afterburners. The speed at which Mac approaches the pack is really impressive.
And I think that's something Atlanta have struggled a little bit with, because they're such a physical team. The agility of Mac and just the ability to cover the whole track and to go around so fast.
Black looking a little not happy about being forced on that long recycle there.
So we have seen a number of helmet cover drops during this tournament, and it's actually a technical issue.
Yeah.
So there are different size helmet covers and different size helmets.
Yes.
And there's a new helmet out, and it's not fitting the covers. And so if you are watching all of these games live, preferably, but if not on playback, that's why it's happening. It's a bit of a technical issue that they're not fitting properly.
Maybe, and I do think one of our sponsors has an answer to that, but we can talk about that later. Troublemaker jamming for Atlanta, Trash Panda donning the star for Toulouse. 123-71 is currently our score. And we've got whistles being blown all over the place, but I'm not seeing anyone exit the track yet. Okay, we're going to lose another Atlanta blocker to the S1 penalty box. Once again, that is Thumper, now at the 5th penalty, the second Atlanta blocker to be at 5 penalties. Jam is called for an injury. Looks like that was Troublemaker that went down on the track.
So it's a chance to shout out some of the watch parties that we know are going on. I know that we've had, teams across Europe. So London, for example, have been having a big party. Bath Roller Derby, we know, have had a team, but we've got some watch parties at home. Ravelin is with Team Announcer, which is the best team, obviously.
Announcers always win.
Jess DQ is with Two Dogs, the Floof and Snoot team.
We love Team Floof and Team Snoot.
Lizard is a Nerd is with Team Keychain, Unicorn, Zcats, and Derby Hellions.
Hooray!
And Atlanta's entire group chat is apparently watching us. No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah. Joystick Switch is with 2 kitty cats.
Aww.
We love you watching us at home. We love watching people watching us, but hopefully we'll be able to watch the roller derby too.
Yes.
And then IDIC is one disinterested cat, and one cat very interested in the food bag. That's my sole animal. And we've also got a chance to talk about one of our sponsors, Dark Horse Comics, who are the Best Seats sponsor. Best Seats is equipped with free comics, graphic novels, a perfect raised view, easy bar access, and an extremely comfy couch, courtesy of our friends at City Liquidators. Dark Horse Comics, the official Best Seat sponsor of 2024 WFTDA Global Championships, for an incredible experience.
And good gracious, I don't think I've seen that Dark Horse Comics Best Seat in the House booth so full as it is right now. I don't even know
pom-poms.
Yeah, I don't even know if the camera can get that in turn 2, but it is a very full contingent. I recognize D-Mauer from this far away, hanging out over there. Might be a bunch of our Crime City friends.
So we have pom-poms, kazoos are there as well as the graphic novels from Dark Horse Comics.
And lots of cheers from the Best Seat in the House. So we're going to start this next jam with the only blocker on the track for Atlanta is going to be Blackjack, because once again we have 3 Atlanta blockers in the penalty box, that S1 penalty box. And if I'm not mistaken, we were mentioning how the helmet covers fitting differently made an impact. I believe I saw in one of the commercials that one of the new S1 helmets has that little ridge that actually grips onto the helmet cover. So that's a pretty cool new addition. Out next on the jam line, who do we got?
We have got Qatar up against Peace Corps.
And before we can even finish telling you their names, Qatar has exited the pack and is your lead jammer.
But Atlanta now with 2 blockers on track from the S1 penalty box.
Still a 4-2 pack disadvantage for Atlanta, and Peace Corps having to fight. But now we have a power jam for Atlanta. Peace Corps, the lone jammer on the track after Katza grabbed a cutting the track penalty. Cancer Candy re-entering the fray as very physical pack underway. Atlanta doing this like swooping motion of clearing space for their respective jammers, and we see number 28 from Toulouse, Baboon, heading to the S1 penalty box.
But even with just 2 blockers from Toulouse, the speed they can get across the track. I mean, in other teams, they'd be jammers. The speed of the Toulouse blockers means that they can cover the whole track.
So agile. So Boule, the last line of defense for Toulouse, and going toe-to-toe literally with Peace Corps. Peace Corps, one hand out, but keeps going. Now eligible to score points, but effective penalty kill. But so Katza did exit the penalty box and then was sent right back in for another cutting the track penalty. That's the second time we've seen a Toulouse jammer grab 2 cutting the track penalties in a single jam.
And this is what we were talking about. Atlanta are getting blocker penalties. Toulouse are getting the jammer penalties.
Peace Corps makes it through and hops the curve right there at turn 3 to grab 4 points on that pass. Total of 8 on the jam thus far for Dirty South Derby. Nice assist there from Blackjack. But Baboon with the follow through.
Had one skate over the line, so also had to go back.
No lead jam, full 2 minutes, but that time is going to expire. People are getting thrown all over the place.
And this is why we're talking about the Toulouse blockers are not letting Atlanta take advantage of those power jams. I mean, we had two penalties, jammer penalties, and Dirty South picking up 11 points, and Toulouse still picking up 4.
Yeah, that was really impressive. So 127.82. There you see that hop over. I don't want to call it the apex because that's technically the point, but that turn at turn 3 that netted one of those scoring passes. 127-82. We've got Jacques Decker facing off against Gucci Mane, but Jacques makes light work of getting through that pack thanks to some offensive assistance.
Gucci Mane taking the helmet cover off, facing that Toulouse tripod at the back.
Tripod with that float to bridge the 2 blocking contingents. Atlanta anchoring the same defensive strategy up in the front with Jacques and Decker.
But look how low Atlanta tripod is having to get, because the center of gravity from Jacques and Decker and the force of the push is so low.
Yes. Oh, we got a pile up in the front. Toulouse reconfiguring, reforming. Nice spin there. The proximity at which Jacques and Decker is able to keep on those opposing blockers when trying to pass is really impressive. No daylight between the 2 players. That's going to be 4 points for nothing Toulouse, and Jacques and Decker opts to call off the jam after being forced to repeat that pass.
And it's worth it at this stage. Get a new setup. I mean,
they're working so hard for every single inch on the track.
But there's 49 points between the 2 teams at the moment, so it is in Toulouse's interest to new setup, run the clock down.
Well, Mac is one of those that can really widen that point spread, jamming currently for Toulouse. And oh, good gracious, these follow-through hits. Mac gets back up, though, on top of the fray. And again, we have a waiting line, a queue, if you will, in the S1 penalty box. Mac threw that pack completely untouched. I don't think they even saw her coming.
No. And that's because the Toulouse blockers were absolutely distracting all of the 2 Atlanta blockers that were on the track.
All 2 of them.
All 2 of them. If there'd been 4, there might have been a chance.
Well, another thing that is a bit distracting is so Erica Baduzzi heading back to the S1 penalty box, but I want to draw attention to number 18, Thumper, is currently sitting on the 6th penalty. Thumper now re-entering the track as Mac now racking up the 3rd scoring pass, 12 points total on the jam for Toulouse.
And with 22 minutes left on the game, this gives the Atlanta bench a difficulty because Thumper is a key blocker, sort of strong defense, but on 6 penalties, is not going to be able to be on the lineup as often.
Low block penalty called on Sweeney, the pivot for Toulouse. Merchant of Menace donning the star. And Mac calls it off with 40 seconds left in the jam. Hard fought, 14 points total on the jam. Dirty South coming out scoreless. That is the 3rd scoreless jam for Atlanta here in this second half. And we have a Radical Wheels replay here. Just look at this physicality here. This is where Mac is going to juke past that last nice spin move there at turn 2 to get through I believe that was R2 Death 2 in the turn. Who do we have jamming?
We have Trash Panda on the Get Your Bearings start line up against Jaramillo.
Jaramillo forced to recycle back to turn 4 thanks to jammer takeout there by Toulouse. Tripod anchored in the back as Trash Panda gets past those Atlanta blockers. Atlanta shifting back to offense, trying to help Jaramillo through with a hop, skip, and a jump past a blocker. Jaramillo now eligible to score points. Trash Panda on the toe stops at turn 2, calls it off right after grabbing 4 points before Jaramillo can hit that pack to score for Dirty South.
And it's an opportunity to thank our sponsor, 187 Killer Pads. Often imitated, never duplicated. Stick with the best.
Apparently we've got more watch parties to shout out to.
Oh, and Bones from WFTDA is shouting out from the sky, currently on a plane back home.
Oh, brilliant.
And Ruthless with Treasure Valley Roller Derby in Boise, Indiana.
Peace Corps now jamming for Dirty South Katza for Nothing to Lose. Empty S1 penalty box. That's been a rarity in this game. Both jammers taking similar paths through the pack, traversing horizontally. Cancer Candy trying that last jammer takeout, and then there's a follow through.
Cancer Candy is always at the front, always willing to do that jammer chase down, and is very effective because it's hard to do. You see it done so much, but not often very well.
But I wonder if that one-on-one has been detrimental to the agility, based on the agility of the Toulouse jammers. That one-on-one defense is just not as effective as when you get that tight wall that they can't juke around.
But I don't think Toulouse are giving them any choice. The Toulouse blockers are just splitting the Atlanta blockers up. So they're going, this is all I can do.
Yeah.
I'll put my body on the line.
4 points on that pass for Toulouse. Has not hit the scoreboard just yet, but we ended jam number 7 at 153 to 82. We've got 19 minutes left in this game. We're heading into jam number 8 here in the second half. Dork.
And we thank TriMet. Save money on gas and the hassle of parking. Let TriMet do the driving. Visit trimet.org to learn more. So on the Get Your Bearings jam line, it is Jacques and Decaire and Gucci Mane.
Whistles being blown. We have a illegal positioning penalty called on Blackjack.
But Lila from Toulouse recycling Gucci Mane back to turn 4. Just that speed of the skate back is phenomenal.
Great Wall of China doing much the same for Jacques and Decaire here in the back. At this Atlanta tripod, really holding it down on Jacques and Decaire. Still no lead jammer. We're 30 seconds in.
And Gucci Mane is in the S1 penalty box.
And we have a star pass by Toulouse to Champagne, going to take over as the jammer of record for the team in purple. That is the first star pass we've seen from Toulouse this half.
And interestingly, at a time when lead hadn't been declared.
Yeah, true. But maybe they just need it. You gotta shift things sometimes.
Yeah.
Hand off the scoring duties if you can't get through that defense.
And we were saying earlier, I've seen Champagne as the pivot and the sort of switched in for the jammer a number of times. And you're right, this is the first time we've seen that in this game because the jammers have been able to get through.
Look at that brace 2 wall in the back. Atlanta absolutely locking down Champagne at turn 1, and Gucci Mane now out of the pack, eligible to score points after completing that initial pass. Atlanta regrouping as Champagne forced in a long recycle by Blackjack. Beautiful hit there by number 72, Nina Backdraft. But Gucci Mane comes out with 4 points. We are evenly split on point scoring here as 18 seconds remain on the jam clock.
And I've seen so many impressive jammers using the momentum of the hit to spin them around the outside.
So Champagne just hit Gucci Mane, and then Blackjack hit Champagne, and Champagne had the biggest smile on her face. Like, yep, that was coming. 3 points on that pass for Champagne. Looks like we had an additional 3 for Gucci Mane as well. So 7 all on jam number 8. We have 16 and a half minutes left in this game.
And we have some whistles going off. Just having a look. It is a timeout. I'm just having a look at the jam. It's an official timeout, which is brought to you by Crash Course. Custom training plans with Derby-specific workouts, nutrition plans, and athlete-minded development. Curated by epic coaches. Life as a contact sport. Win.
So I'm not sure what the official timeout was for.
So the jam timer is coming over to talk to the scoreboard, so I think they're just checking that everything is right. And also the head official is speaking to the Atlanta bench. So it would be nice if they mic'd up officials all the time, but I'm not entirely sure it would be wise.
Same could be said for skaters.
We're the only people that can be trusted.
That's a scary notion, but indeed true, my friend. So I'm not sure what the conversation is about with our officials, but we are grateful to them for taking the time necessary to ensure that this is all on the up and up, safe, etc. We should give a shout out to our officials.
Yes, so our skating officials are RTFM, Darth Bling, Elemental, Bruce Almighty, Rolling Rat, Doesn't Matter, and Dire Wolf. And our non-skating officials are Heads Will Roll, Galvatron, Bernard, Quick Grayson, Read the Rules, Kelsey Grammer, Silken Tofu, Fickle Bitch, Malice Surte, and Amy Farrell Fowler. You know, we have 3 crew head NSOs here. Only one of them is from America. You know, this is this piece about that international, global championships. So it used to be North America and friends. And now it is truly a global championships. And, you know, coming from Europe, I'm delighted to see Rolling Rat and Dire Wolf here, as well as crew heads.
Hey, we found Waldo.
Oh.
The camera operator found Waldo in the crowd. I had a Waldo on my plane on the way over here too. But you did get a glance at the best seat in the house over there in turn 2. A lot of the Crime City Rollers folks hanging out at
the Dark Horse Comics.
Best seat in the house.
Yeah. I'm so excited that we've actually got a comic sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, roller derby's arriving.
Absolutely. So out on the track now, we've got Mac for Nothing to Lose and the Merchant of Menace for Atlanta. Mac through on that outside lane, gets past Erica Baduzzi to grab lead jammer status as Merchant of Menace getting tangled up between 2 Toulouse blockers. Cancer Candy trying to provide some offensive assistance, but instead accruing a penalty in the process. That was an illegal contact penalty. And
we're just having a look because they're the furthest away from us right this second.
Yeah, there's not really a great angle for turn 2 there. Helmet cover has been dropped by Merchant of Menace,
but picked up again safely.
But handed off again, once again to Blackjack. That is the second star pass to Blackjack in this half. And oh, goodness.
And again, we're seeing this, the physicality of blockers taking out other blockers, not focusing on the jammer.
Nope.
Just disrupting any kind of defense or wall construction going on.
Everybody's got a target on their back right now. Looks like 1 point for Atlanta, 3 for Toulouse on that last jam. Total of 7 for Toulouse, 167 to 90. 15 minutes left in our game.
And we have another official timeout. And again, I think that's the officials talking to the Atlanta bench.
So we've got a number of penalties right now. I wonder if that may be part of the conversation, because one of those individuals is Cancer Candy, who just accrued another penalty. This is going to be number 5 or 6 for them. Sometimes
the officials come in and say, look, just calm
Get it together.
calm yourselves.
Yes. Calm yourselves. We do have 2 Atlanta players sitting at 5 penalties, 1 at 6. Toulouse has no one anywhere near that.
Trash Panda on the Get Your Bearings at start line against Jaramillo. And, this is frantic.
A little bit. So it's always interesting to me whenever your blockers can initiate the same type of motion that your jammers can, because it's really difficult to counter that.
And we've seen this from the Toulouse blockers. I'm just constantly astonished at their lateral agility, their speed. And it shows Trash Panda out for lead.
Yes, indeed. And we do have a star pass that has been executed on the track. Sweet and Sour taking over as the scorer of record for Atlanta, as nobody chasing after Trash Panda on that 4-point scoring pass.
Because if you're doing that sort of blocker on block defense, you get distracted and then the jammer's gone past, especially one as fast as Trash Panda.
Well, and right now, so Champagne pulled a trap on one of the Atlanta blockers. I believe that was Dominican Dynamite getting trapped in the back, and it just distracted everyone from Trash Panda making that second scoring pass. Now through for 8 points on the jam thus far. The star is currently in hand of Sweet and Sour, and now Sweet and Sour is out of the pack and eligible to score points. And being called on a penalty.
Because I don't believe that was a legal star pass. And that's why the scoreboard had not changed jammer. So they were warned, you are not the jammer, by the official, and carried on skating, which means that they failed to reform.
Interesting. Good eye on that, Dork. And Trash Panda, eye on the prize, calls it off after 4 more points. I believe that's going to be a total of 16 on the jam.
Now, I'm a firm believer that everybody in roller derby should learn to referee because you just get that deep understanding of those, sort of more difficult to understand technicalities.
Referee, NSO, when you understand all the inner workings of it, it definitely provides that additional depth of knowledge for sure.
Besides, we know this is a cult and we want to suck your entire life away.
Yes. 12 points on the jam. I was incorrect on the 16. We have a timeout called.
It's time for a crash course timeout. Ready to make 2-minute jams feel easy? Tired of second guessing your training routine? Take a timeout with Crash Course to learn Derby-specific workouts and nutrition plans.
We've got cartwheels and worms happening on the track by Why Bro Serious.
But interestingly, this is Atlanta's 3rd timeout. They have no more timeouts. They only have an official review left in this game. So what that's going to do as we get into the last few minutes, I'm not entirely sure, but they're probably having...
Oh, we got double worms on the track. Atlanta going up toe-to-toe.
And while we're doing that, it's a chance to thank our sponsor, S1, who are sponsoring the S1 penalty box. S1 helmets and pads, protecting roller derby since 2006.
Thank you for your long-term dedication, just as long as some of our most tenured players here at Champs. Out next on the jam line, we do still have sorry, I'm looking at the wrong person. We still have Sweet and Sour in the S1 penalty box. Katza jamming for Toulouse and Peace Corps for Atlanta.
And this is where you can see, because Peace Corps is there, it shows that Sweet and Sour was not the jammer in the last jam.
So we have a very physical pack at turn 1. Kata has been declared lead, and now with a star stash, Peace Corps gets through the pack but grabs a cutting the track penalty on that initial pass. So power jam for Kata and Toulouse.
And we're up on turn 2.
Toulouse trying to bridge that the back of the pack, now jumping in 100% on offense. We are seeing a very physical pack here, called off after 4 points.
That's smart at this tactics. If you're facing resistance, there's no point pushing for Toulouse at this stage. Get a new setup, get 30 seconds, get a new lineup.
So I thought something looked really familiar out on the track. Why Bro Serious, formerly of Montreal.
Yes.
I recognized the shorts and the low life sticker on the helmet and then the face, and was like, wait a minute, something works here.
Yeah, no, we all knew this.
Thanks. Thanks, gang. We do have an official, we have a team timeout, official review, excuse me. We have an official review called by Dirty South Derby. This is their final clock stoppage.
Yeah. With still 11 minutes left in the game.
I mean, you do. If you think it's a valid concern to raise, then raise it. To recap, we do have Atlanta sitting on 40 points right now with 11 and a half minutes left in the game. Toulouse at 24. Atlanta does have 2 players with 5 penalties currently.
Atlanta is requesting we overturn the cut call on White Jammer.
Can I just say how wonderful our head referee's sort of descriptions of what's going on is to the audience. It's been so clear.
And we have the official cheering section here mimicking our jam timers actions, which have been very definitive. Love them.
So So all of our officials, for those of you at home, are sat in one corner of the arena, mimicking the hand actions, but also we've seen signs.
Yes.
All for the officials.
Yes.
They are here for each other, and we are here for them too.
Yes, absolutely. This just reminds me of Montreal Champs when in 2019, where the entire arena chimed in on whenever it was an official review.
So Steve All, who is the bench for Crime City Rollers, was a jam timer in the 2017 Malmo playoffs.
White Jammer went out of bounds behind two teammates and re-entered ahead of them. Call stands, not retained.
Alrighty,
Just
there
to
you have
finish
it.
off, so he was jam timing, had an official review. It was his last jam, and the whole audience was going, whoa.
We did that in Montreal. So back to the action on the track. This is the second highest point scorer for Toulouse in the first half. Missy Hammer jamming all alone for Toulouse. We have a bit of a scrum start off the line and a pile up at turn 1, and number 72 for Toulouse, Nina Backdraft, heading to the S1 penalty box, and a cutting the track penalty assessed on Missy Hammer. She is one of the two jammers that had multiple penalties in a single jam in our first half. Peace Corps released from the S1 penalty box, now having to fight with 3 Toulouse blockers to get past. Lead jammer status is still eligible.
But it's that speed of reforming from the Toulouse blockers up front. Only then was Peace Corps able to outpace them.
Get through and grab lead jammer status. Love when you come straight out of the box and straight into lead jammer. That is the first lead jammer status in the half for Atlanta. Definitely looking for a bit of a momentum shift here. Missy Hammer now out of the pack and eligible to score points after serving time in the penalty box. 52 seconds remain on the jam clock as Peace Corps tries to contend with that Toulouse defense, calls it off. Whoa! Missy took out herself and Blackjack there.
And I think this is what we were talking about, that difficulty of the surface. I mean, I think it's difficult for all teams, but particularly teams not used to sport courts.
Well, and Missy Hammer's going to go to the box there, and I think that was purely accidental. But here we see Peace Corps coming through on, I think this is the scoring pass, getting passed on the outside lane. Beautiful toe stop work there. And then after calling it off, Missy Hammer slid while trying to do a turnaround toe stop.
And unfortunately, intent is not the problem, it's the action which caused the low ball.
Oh.
So Troublemaker on the Get Your Bearings start line, jammer and lead jammer for Dirty South.
So speaking of action, Troublemaker just blazing through, wrecking balling through that pack, but now getting answered by a full contingent of Toulouse blockers. 2 bridging up at the front. We've got 1 bridge in the middle, the pivot. Last. And then Wybro Sirius going to the S1 penalty box as Missy Hammer re-enters the fray.
Oh, and just because there was 2 of them, like, behind each other, not doing a sidewall, they were able to get the momentum out. And one of them didn't go out, so could go back. It was beautiful.
Missy Hammer going back to the S1 penalty box for a high block. So that is 3rd penalty in 2 jams for Missy Hammer.
And we'll be doing a 3rd jam because that is going to be a power start for Dirty South.
4 points for Dirty South on that jam. They have passed the century mark, 183 to 101, as we have 8.5 minutes left in this game. Heading into jam number 14, Dork.
And this jam is brought to you by 888, elevating Derby safety standards with cutting-edge technology and unmatched fit options. On the deep cover helmet, the lowest profile, slimmest fitting, and only triple certified helmet for Derby.
Out next on the jam lane, we have Jaramillo on a power jam start. Toulouse tries to get a very fast pack out of the gate. Wybro Sirius coming straight out of the penalty box, but the jammer takeout there by number 72, Nina Backdraft. Lilov into the S1 penalty box. Missy standing as Jaramillo has been declared lead jammer, but had to come back behind those two last Toulouse blockers. Wybro Sirius and Champagne with that double team in the front. Missy now out of the pack, eligible to score points straight out of the box. Jaramillo calls it off.
And again, you see Toulouse, rather than doing two side-by-side blockers, are doing two blockers sort of one behind the other.
But they're rotating, so it's super effective because they go from side to side to, we have a team timeout called by Toulouse, but yes, that action that Toulouse is employing with that two blocker defense is really effective because of the rotation they're employing. Makes it difficult for the jammer to juke out. It's almost like they're moving as a jammer while they're blocking.
But with twice the momentum and force.
Yes.
And also it means that if one of them goes out, the other doesn't and is already facing the way to go and do the recycle so quickly.
Yeah.
It's so technical.
Yes.
But just so lovely.
Really, really lovely. So we have, like we said, a team timeout by Toulouse on the floor. This is their first team timeout of the game.
And this timeout is brought to you by Siphon Draw Apothecary. All this talking is surely drying my lips out. Thank you to Siphon Draw Apothecary for providing hydrating lip balm to the announcers. And also Tea and Honey, official sponsor of the 2024 WFTDA Global Championships. Thank you, Siphon Draw Apothecary.
Indeed. So team timeout comes to a conclusion. In the box, we currently have Lilov for Toulouse and a full complement of Atlanta blockers on the track along with two jammers. We've got Mac back on the Get Your Bearings start line along with Gucci Mame.
And again, that shirt whip,
Hooray! Elastic Materials. And
Roller Derby, brought to you by Spandex.
Exactly. And now we have Boo, is that Boo or Baboon, sorry, in the penalty box as Gucci Mame now through the pack, eligible to score points. Mac, oh, beautiful jammer takeout there by number 333, Sweet and Sour from Atlanta. Gucci Mame ducked by on that outside lane, but it was called before they could put any points on the board. 3 points for Toulouse here in Jam 15. We're going to keep Dirty South at 101 and Toulouse at 186.
So the WFTDA predictor had this game at Toulouse at 186 and Atlanta at 113 at the end. And so we're at 186 for Toulouse now with 6 minutes to go. Dirty South not quite there. So there's, you know, it's coming closer than we thought it was going to be.
Yes. And out on the jam line, we have Trash Panda facing off against Merchant of Menace. Trash Panda, wide open space on that inside lane. And I think that was purely distraction.
Yes.
It wasn't even just physicality.
There was no offense.
It was distraction.
It was distraction, yeah.
Merchant of Menace now out of the pack and eligible to score points. Trash Panda goes down at turn 2, and Merchant of Menace gets tangled up in that pile-up as well.
I'm attempting an apex jump, but it's fine to jump into your own teammates.
Well, hey, Atlanta comes out on top of that one.
That was that apex jump.
On top of their own teammate as well as the scoreboard. 3 points for Dirty South, 2 points for Toulouse. 188 to 104, 5.5 minutes left in the game.
And we have Peace Corps on the Get Your Bearings start line up against Qatar.
So jammers take opposing start positions. Kata on the inside.
I think we had a couple of false starts, but they did yield.
Arms up.
I'm
fine.
yielding. I'm yielding.
So Peace Corps with some fast feet, but Kata is faster. Now the foremost jammer. Oh, attempted takeout there by Kata, but it backfired. Peace Corps managed to get out of that tangle victorious, but teams held 2-0 thanks to a strategic call off from Kata.
And I think, again, it's just adjusting to this floor surface.
Yeah.
Because that was a slip.
Yeah, a little bit of a slide. And so that was the 10th scoreless jam for Atlanta, 5th scoreless jam for Toulouse. Lead jammer status has gone to Toulouse 12 times here in this second half, 3 times for Atlanta, and pretty even on multi-pass jams, 5 for Toulouse and 4 for Atlanta.
So Troublemaker on the Get Your Bearings start line up against Jacques and Decoeur for Toulouse.
We have a direction of gameplay penalty being called on
Nina Backdraft.
Yep.
right at the start. I mean, that was literally the first hit of the jam.
Look how tight this pack is. Scrum start out of the gate. Toulouse not in a solid formation right now, but that tripod of Atlanta blockers really doing a great job of holding back Jack and Decker, forcing out of bounds. Oh, nice follow-up hit there by number 4,000 Great Wall of China.
But then Toulouse, using that speed, did reform and were able to form that tripod and have hit out Troublemaker.
And forcing a very long recycle there, Lee Love there on the long pullback. So now everybody getting friendly in the straightaway. We've got penalties, we got whistles being blown.
So interestingly, we now have 2 Toulouse blockers on 5 penalties.
Jack and Decker being called out on a cutting the track penalty or a high block. Cutting the track penalty, pardon.
Yeah.
Toulouse loses. Oh no, I'm just joking. That was not Jack and Decker on
that was
the penalty.
Nina Backdraft. But that takes Nina Backdraft up to 6 penalties. So that's 2 penalties in this jam for that blocker for Toulouse.
Troublemaker out of the pack and eligible to score points as Jack and Decker on a scoring pass. Now notices where the opposing jammer is, coming up against that wall of Toulouse blockers. Blackjack again trying to provide an offensive assist. And Jack and Decker gets through the chaos first for 4 points.
But that is Dominican Dynamite also heading to the box for Dirty South.
Star pass to Blackjack for Atlanta. 4 points before the star pass was executed.
So that jam has now got 3 skaters across both teams on 6 penalties with Dominican Dynamite. And you can see this has been a very physical game because we now have 1 in Toulouse on 5 penalties, 1 on 6. We have 2 on 6 in Atlanta and 2 on 5.
I would argue that the penalties don't always indicate the physicality or the intensity of the play. However, I think it is a testament to the fatigue that they're probably experiencing at this point in the tournament. So back to the action on the track. We have Gucci Mane, your lead jammer for Dirty South Derby from Atlanta. And Mac tangled up, in a bit of a pile up at turn 1. That's going to send 2 Atlanta blockers to the box. And we've got a cue once again, line up for the Atlanta penalty box. And that is the 7th penalty for Trumper.
Yeah. But it is 1 minute 44 left in the game.
Well, they're playing like they're going to leave it all out on the track. Sweet and sour, beautiful follow through on that defense for holding back Mac. We're seeing more players head to that S1 penalty box. Are they handing out cookies or kittens or something? Dominican Dynamite back to the track. That double team, Dominican Dynamite and Sweet and Sour, just beautiful ping-ponging off of one another. And Gucci Mane on a scoring pass has not put any points on the board as of yet, and it looks like Mac is going to head to the penalty box for a cutting direction, cutting the track.
Looked like they were signaling direction. We'll find out now.
It was a penalty. Either way, power jam for Atlanta. Gucci Mane, your lead jammer on a power jam. 53 seconds on the period clock, 40 seconds on the jam clock. 4 all on the jam. Ooh, attempted apex jump is thwarted by Wybro Sirius. Gucci Mane calls it off from the floor. 0 points on that pass. 4 awarded for Toulouse, and an official review called by Toulouse.
I'm not surprised. A lot went on in that jam.
That was a very busy jam.
That was a very busy jam. But I think that possibly the Sweet and Sour's block, they may be questioning that.
Perhaps. Oh, there we've got a view at the Dark Horse.
Best seats in the house.
Seat in the house.
Or they're questioning the call on Mac. We'll find out now.
Yeah,
we'll find out now.
So nothing Toulouse has passed the 200-point mark. We're currently at 2:04 to 1:12. 40 seconds left on the period clock. 8-4 on that last jam, number 19. We've probably got one more jam left in this game, and what a barn burner this has been.
This has been a way to wake up on a Sunday.
Right?
Yeah, way to kick off the final day.
Indeed.
Sparkle Sunday with
Sparkle, Sparkle.
Sparkle with massive hits and huge agility.
And here you see the official fan club playing along. You can do this at home as well. Liz is a nerd, wants a penalty box kitten, is what I'm being told from our Discord conversation. Just friendly reminder, you can engage with us. We are actually looking at it both during the games and after.
I don't understand how Cakes is providing us with stats and posts as much as she does
Producer magic.
on the Discord.
Magical, magical
two
producer.
brains.
Yes.
Yeah. And don't forget that we have another game coming up.
And we have an official.
Toulouse is requesting a clockwise block on white pivot.
That was the sweet and sour hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm 2 for 2 on this.
You are. Okay, so let's, penalties. We actually have 8 penalties that have been assessed on Thumper, who has fouled out of the game officially.
Yeah.
Now, we've got 40 seconds left on the clock, but 6 penalties for number 300 Cancer Candy, 6 penalties for number 27 Dominican Dynamite, 5 penalties for number 775 Prim Reaper. And then on the Toulouse side, we have number 72, Nina Backdraft, sitting on 6. We've got number 19 and number 191 on the Toulouse side. That's Sweeney and Missy Hammer, both sitting on 5. The one on the Toulouse side that sticks out to me is Missy Hammer because those have all been jammer penalties.
The block executed was lateral, no call stands, not retained.
Laying it down, not retained.
Sweet and sour, though, has been amazing in knowing that edge on what is lateral and what is directional. So
it's such a fine line. It really is. I mean, as a player, and then to the refs for recognizing that nuance as well. So out on the jam line, we do have a power jam start for Jaramillo with Mac in the penalty box. Couple two loose blockers in the box as well. I'm sorry, just one. So trapped in the back. Wow. Oh, beautiful juke there by Jaramillo to grab lead jammer status in what is likely the last jam of this game. Jaramillo on a scoring pass now as Mac has to do that initial pass. Toe stop work on the inside lane there. And Mac now through the pack and eligible to score points. That looked like a little bit of a distraction tactic as well. And as you mentioned, the lack of familiarity with the, who the target should be.
Yeah. And we're on turn 2 with I'm gonna jinx it, an empty S1 penalty box.
So Blackjack taking a spill in the straightaway. Looks like Mac gets through for 4 points. And Jaramillo still on that initial scoring pass. Calls it off, and that will be the game. 4 points for Jaramillo on that last pass. Looks like 4-all on the jam. 208 to 116 is our unofficial final score. Look at this Radical Wheels replay. That offensive assist by Blackjack. And then here you see that juke around the spill from Nina Backdraft. Nothing but Derby love on the track. Hard fought victory for Atlanta and great champs debut for Toulouse.
I was about to say, remember, this is Toulouse's first ever postseason because they only joined WFTDA in 2020.
Right.
So they've never done regional champs or postseason and made it to champs in their first go.
Yeah.
So, huge amount they've learned from this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really
and
amazing.
making history.
Totally. And with 2 French teams at champs this year, that's absolutely fantastic. And then great job for them adapting to the sport court, which they are unfamiliar with, let alone a sport court on top of an ice rink, which makes it even that much more complicated. So,
and before we go to the next game, which is the other French team, Nantes are playing Gotham.
Oh my.
And if you are a skater in Europe, Gotham were who you knew about when you started. So Nantes get to play Gotham. But before we do that, we're going to have an interview, so don't go anywhere.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we saw in this game. So Atlanta, 4 multi-pass jams. Toulouse definitely took control early on in the first half and just kind of kept that throughout. We didn't see any lead changes here in the second half, thanks to a few monster jams by Toulouse in the first half. Toulouse with 7 multi-point and multi-pass jams, in the second half. Lead jammer status dominated by Toulouse with 13 here in the second half, 5 for Atlanta. Star passes much more common for Atlanta, 4 in the second half, 1 for Toulouse. Scoreless jams that is a testament to the Toulouse defense.
Yes.
Scoreless jams, Atlanta held to 10 and Toulouse with 5. We had 8 power jams and 3 full 2-minute jams, a lot of those because of jammer penalties.
From Toulouse.
Yes.
So Atlanta were able to keep their jammers out of the S1 penalty box, but that was because it was full of Atlanta blockers.
Yes, who were in line, presumably to grab
Queuing. You're with a Brit. We queue.
We get in line, although it sounds so much more elegant when you say we queue.
We queue.
Okay, and it looks